Hi, Dan.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
Nice to meet
Alex
you.
is joining us because we've had a terrible record of this game, Dan, that we're going to play. And I'm hoping that Alex can continue to bring us luck on this game. It's called the ENVIE game because of Alex's encyclopedic knowledge of games. I think we're gonna have a better chance of winning. Steve, tell Dan in the chat crew, how do we play the ENVIE game?
All right. So we got Dan here who's going to think of a game that would be his ENVIE, the one that he would play right now if he could drop everything and had the right group, had the right time, had the right everything. Could be one that's in his collection, could be one that he's dying to play, could be an obscure, Happy Meal game. It could be God knows what. But he's going to have that in his head, and we're going to have to try to ask him questions, a la 20 questions, to figure out what it is. Narrow it down and figure it out. It's a race between the three of us and the chat crew to see who's going to find out what it is first. And the likelihood may well be that Dan stumps us all.
I wouldn't bet.
You got the rules? What's that?
So is this just yes or no, or do I have to?
No, you can, if you want to be hard about it, you can say, well, you're going to have to rephrase that in the form of a yes/no question, or we could, be.
So if you say, I want the publisher, or if you say, I want the game name, like the title.
No, not like that. But they might say, is it, phrase it. You might force them to say, is it a European designer or something along those lines? You can force them into being specific. They can't go fishing. They got to ask.
By the way, Alex, here's your chance to participate. We're doing a contest all during the show. We're giving away a copy of Sprawlopolis, which I think you already have.
Ooh, I don't have. Yeah, I played it. It's fantastic.
Oh, okay. So here's your chance. Okay. Sprawlopolis, thanks to Topher, we're giving away a copy of Sprawlopolis and also Turbo Drift, and it comes with an expansion that Dan will help me out with. I always forget the expansion.
I don't know the name. Expansion.
Okay.
The expansion Turbo Drift.
Yeah, it's the ramped up expansion.
Oh,
the ramped up expansion. Yeah, and it's signed by The Rock. No, it's not. But so, Alex,
well, now I want
all you have to do is name an exotic city and be the one that Dan chooses at the end of the episode to visit. Do you have an exotic city?
Now, question: does this city have to be visitable at this current time, in this current moment, or not so much?
Dan?
No. This has to be a city that I would want to visit under ideal circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dan, I don't know you at all, so that was very, very, very difficult. I will throw out. There is when I was traveling, when I was backpacking around the world, I had on my list a lot of countries, and I went to Thailand, I went to Vietnam, I went to Laos, I went to Cambodia, and saw some amazing sites in all of those places. The one that wasn't on my radar before I left the country was Myanmar. And I stopped in a town there called New Bagan. And New Bagan itself is fine as a town, decent enough food, somewhat touristy, stayed in a nice hostel there. But the most breathtaking vistas you'll ever see. It's a sprawling complex of temples. They have a tendency to launch hot air balloons. So you will see quite a few flying over the city. And I'm not a morning person. I cannot get up for sunrises, but I got up for every single sunrise I possibly could on that trip. And I love that place so much that I got it printed on my credit card, a photo that I have. In fact, I'm going to go run and get that photo while you all process all that.
Okay.
What's the name of the town?
It's New Bagan in Myanmar, or Bagan.
Oh,
B-A-G-A-N.
New Bagan. It's that radio show, Dan, where they do the commercials with the singing biscuit ladies and... That's the Garrison Keillor show, right, Alex?
Okay, Alex, you might not want to show the number.
No, hold on.
Oh my God!
Could you turn it around?
So we can see CVC on the back.
There's a 3-digit code that we need you to put on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, if Alex would hold that up a little bit more clearly, we could all finance our trip to New Bagan on his time.
You got to get a visa. You have to get a visa in advance. You got to be careful with that.
Right.
So we have a couple of. I mean, that's an interesting one, Dan. Is that something that moves up the list there? Myanmar and Lake Wobegon days? No.
I am impressed that even though Alex doesn't know me at all, he is the only one who proposed a destination that is at all in my wheelhouse. Somewhere exotic with some history that I can look at things. That's the problem with visiting American cities is Americans have no idea what history is. You know, our cities, they go, oh, and something happened here in the Revolutionary War. That was like yesterday.
The arch.
Really
That's
happened.
an old fossil, right? The arch. Not old
I
enough for
was
you?
stunned, by the way, to find out that the arch was, I think, built in the 60s.
Oh,
Is
right.
it that recent?
Yeah, I think so.
So, Marshall, I think St. Louis is out. What about New Orleans? This is home of Alex's favorite sandwich, the po' boy. Have you?
I will confess, I have wanted to go to New Orleans, pretty much for the food.
Right?
And I've heard good things. I had two of my best friends go together, and I was a little bummed that I wasn't able to go. So that's okay. Those are the two. Those are the two.
It is an eating town.
Oh, so we got New Orleans and Myanmar, Charlottesville for the wineries, and there was another place for wineries, Carlsbad, California for wineries.
Yep,
Are you a wine guy?
I have actually never had wine.
Okay. So wineries are out. Fredericksburg. What about Fredericksburg? Well, more wineries, Patrick. That's not going to help us.
1965, by the way, is when the arch was completed. 1965.
Wow, that's too recent.
That's what I'm. But I wouldn't have thought before moving here it was anywhere close to that recent. It just feels so iconic and tied into the city. But yeah, it's incredible.
Right. So Fredericksburg is down near New Braunfels. It's the German area of Texas, down southwest of Austin, between Austin and San Antonio. If you haven't been to that part of Texas, it's unique. It's a German areas with German food, German culture, German music, really cool beer halls. So does that sound interesting at all?
I do like German.
Okay. So we got a couple of places like that. I don't see anything else. All right. So we got a bunch of cities on the list. You're gonna have a tough choice. But let's get back to the game. Let's get to the ENVIE games. So do you understand the rules of the game, Dan?
Yes.
Okay.
That was your first question.
Oh God, now we have 19 questions up. All right. So the second question I have for you is it a competitive or a cooperative game? And I'm going to guess it's competitive. I think you're a competitive kind of guy.
I prefer competitive games. You are correct. And the game I am thinking about is competitive.
Oh, I thought he was going to say the name, Steve. I thought he was going to Ted Alsmark.
Yeah, you got it right off the bat.
Cosmic Frog.
Oh no. Patrick says Fredericksburg has the Nimitz Museum and the National Museum of the Pacific War.
Oh,
Patrick, that is all nice and dandy. No, skip that. Go to the World War II Museum in New Orleans. Ask Alex. It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
It is amazing. By the way, I found a picture that doesn't involve me compromising my personal information.
That's beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Good. Very nicely done. All right, Alex, you got a question?
I do have a question. Dan, is this a game that has been released in the last 5 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, Dan's all about the hotness. We should have known that, Alex. We should have known that. King of the hotness.
Would it be a game designed by someone that most game hobbyists would recognize the name of? Kind of a recognizable name designer?
No. And to Marshall Wells, I will say yes.
What was Marshall says
historic theme. That does not shock me. That does not shock me. Joel's throwing out a name, Margaret River, or it's a board game. I don't think he's picking the board game.
Incorrect, Joel.
So it's Margaret River. Lots of wineries there. No, Joel, he doesn't want to visit wineries. We're looking for non-winery areas. All right. Okay. So we got a competitive game within the last 5 years, not by a recognizable name. Is it board-based or card-based?
Yes.
He did ask if they had to be yes, no, and apparently the answer to that question is yes.
Oh, he's going to be tough on us. Okay, so the answer is it's got boards and cards. Chat Krewe. Wait. So it's a competitive game in the last 5 years with boards and cards. That narrows it down to about 80,000 games. So we're getting closer.
Yeah.
Alex, you got something?
I do. Is this a game that's based on a popular intellectual property?
Ooh, an IP-based game.
It is not.
But is that because he qualified it as popular?
No.
I would say by the way, I think it's a dumb question because historic theme would probably eliminate the one that I had in mind anyway. The mistake I make with this game is I think of, it's definitely got to be this one that I really want to play. And then I ask based on that, and
that happens to us in this game. We get down a road, and then we can't get off that highway and take the next exit. So Jordan says, does it come in a Ticket to the Ride size box?
How big is a Ticket to
See,
Ride?
Dan
size
likes
box?
small box games. I know that about him.
So that is a good observation, BJ. But this is not a small box game, nor is it like a big coffin box. So it is. I wouldn't say it's exactly Ticket to Ride sized, but it is close to there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Rob Rouse standard box size, Steve. Rob Rouse standard box size. So Kelly wants to know: are there dice in the game?
I actually don't know. But given there's a likelihood that
Alex,
there are.
There's a likelihood of dice being in the game, but he's not sure.
I'm not sure.
I think this implies to me. It implies to me a potential legacy game of some kind, perhaps, where you don't necessarily know twists and turns. Maybe not, though.
It is not a legacy game, but that's a good question, Alex.
Some good questions in the chat too. And Topher's asking Kickstarter funded or no?
No.
And Joel is asking if it supports solo play.
You know it, Joel.
Ooh, interesting.
It does. Solo play that may or may not have dice. I'm not sure if he's being cute with us with that question and answer.
Only solo?
I think it has dice.
But he's never rolled them.
Is it only solo, Dan?
No, it is not only solo. Yes, it has dice. I just looked it up.
Jordan does the no cube zone, so he obviously wants to know: are there cubes or not? You can't do it on the show if there's cubes.
Jordan, I'm sorry, but this game has cubes.
See, Alex, he went right to the yes, so he knows there's cubes, but he's not sure if there's dice. I'm stuck on legacy game, but he tells us it's not a legacy. Kelly wants to know: yes or no? Have you played this game? Answer yourself, sir.
No.
Oh, he hasn't played the game.
I actually have a friend who has a COVID setup. He has a porch, an open air thing, with space heaters. So we were going to play this game, and then he did something with his wife or something. I don't know. So I have not played this game. I have been very excited about it, but I haven't played it.
Is this a game that you would think of as kind of like a combat war game?
Yes.
Okay.
Did this game come out in 2020?
Yes.
I think I have a guess as to this.
Okay.
Go for it.
But I don't know if it passes the unknown designer part.
Better speaker. The chat will beat you. The chat will snipe you.
Undaunted North Africa?
I have played and reviewed Undaunted North Africa, so it cannot be that, but that is a great guess.
So it wouldn't be the Normandy version, I don't think, Alex, but that's
No. That's not a 2020 release anyway, I'm pretty sure.
2020.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. 2020 release. And you've played The Shores of Tripoli already, right, Dan?
I haven't. Apparently it's being shipped to me. But I haven't played that, but I do want to. But no, that's not what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And Jordan, unfortunately, it is not Imperial Struggle. Although I am a fan of Imperial Struggle.
All right, Chat Krewe, recap. Competitive game. Not a recognizable designer. We're not sure if it has dice, but it definitely has a board. It definitely has cards.
We've confirmed it has dice. He's now confirmed after looking it up it does have dice.
Oh, it does have dice.
2020.
2020
supports solo play and it's combat.
Oh, and it's historical based, you said.
Yes.
Oh, look, we know this game. What historical game came out in 2020? That's the answer to this question. It's so simple.
It is.
I just need you to answer it. What historical game came out in 2020? Let's see. Does it anyway? It does support solo play, so we're not talking anything from Restoration games like the Unmatched games.
Some of
those are
a great question. Is it a coin game?
Yes, it is a coin game.
That is Alex and I's blind spot there.
Yeah,
me too.
Where's Sean?
At least for new ones.
What has Sean talked about on the show lately? By the way, Alex is from the Dukes of Dice podcast. So we keep talking about Alex and Sean's podcast, but
I don't tend to listen as closely to his recent plays as I probably should. So it's very possible he said that when he played it. Right?
I actually imagine when he starts talking about the GMT game, Steve, that Alex is like got it on mute and he's checking he's doing his checkbook, or he's you know what it is? He's on AOL and he's on one of the bulletin boards and he's downloading some information about some game. PAX Premier is not 2020.
It's not a coin game.
Yeah, it's not a coin game.
Although Cole was influenced by the coin series.
Mm-hmm.
Space Court?
I've never heard of Space Court.
It's a running joke on the Dukes of Dice. That's Space Corp, but they call it Space Court as a mispronunciation.
We need another Duke here.
Someone in the chat absolutely recognized it. Jordan is right on the money. Space Court, of course.
Yeah.
Steve, the non-existent game I most want to play.
We invited the wrong Duke tonight, Steve. We invited the wrong Duke.
I apologize. I didn't think it would be so.
No. You just happen to have a collection of us, and it looks like Chat tonight, who might not be big into historical coin combat.
Normally we do have some coin guys out in the chat crew, and I'm not seeing them, and they're not chiming in. So, man.
Am I allowed to cheat and look at all of the coin games released in 2020?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Watergate's not a coin game, and it was 2019, but that's a good guess, Joel. A favorite of mine, a favorite of Alex's. I think Dan likes it also.
Yeah, I like Watergate. That's a good guess.
Was there a Command and Colors something that came out this year?
Richard Borg, not really a coin. It is a coin game, though, Dan?
The
game I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it several times.
Yeah, just making sure.
I'll give you another look at coin on the website. I come up with All Bridges Burning.
Alex, you have successfully identified the game.
Yeah, but I deserved like literally zero credit.
Man, I always try to kind of at least keep an eye out on these coin games, even though I don't play them, because I have friends that do play them, and I don't know this game. Dan, you got to give us the scoop. What is intriguing you about this game?
So this is the first coin game for 3 players, and it's I believe it's about the Finnish Civil War. So it's the Reds versus the Whites in Finland, I think in 1917 or thereabouts. So it's the only coin game that has released that I haven't played. So
Who are the insurgents? Which group? Do you know?
I actually don't. I haven't even opened it up because our play fell through. So I haven't played it, which is a huge disappointment to me because I love that series.
The closest I've gotten is playing is Root, which is not a coin game, but is an homage to coin games. And then we have this one Pendragon. And we just, every time Bradley opens up the rule book, we just never even get past page 1. It's a pretty intimidating rule book, man.
And honestly, that's the toughest one to learn and play.
So what should we start? If we wanted to play a coin game, because I know Alex is dying to put one in his repertoire. What game should we start out with?
The simplest entry point is Cuba Libre.
Yeah.
That one's pretty easy to learn and play. Even some of the other ones like A Distant Plane isn't so bad. I would probably start with one of those.
When I hear Cuba Libre, Steve, every time I hear it, I think of Get Shorty, because the writer of Get Shorty wrote a book called Cuba Libre, and so every time I think, I was like, "What is this? A novel? What are they playing?" At least I think that's.
Isn't it a drink?
It is.
Is it?
It's a rum and coke, I think.
Okay.
Oh, is it rum and coke? A Cuba Libre.
I think that's what a Cuba Libre is.
Well, Alex, we knew we had you on for a reason because of your Google skills.
Alex Googlesmith with the win.
Alex Googlesmith with the big win on the ENVIE. Are we counting that as
a win for that? There is no credit given. We were all absolutely stumped.
That's true. Kevin was close though. Kevin was very close.
gonna do it.